Hey, oh my god. Well, that's a good way to start.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Will, and I'm here to do my spoiler review for Marvel's What If, Episode 6. What if Tony Stark was saved by Killmonger? I think that's the title. I don't remember half the titles of these episodes. I'm sorry. But I'm here to talk about it and give you my overall thoughts on the episode. This is a spoiler review, as all of these What If episode reviews have been. So if you're still trying to catch up, by all means, the other episodes are listed in the description below. So feel free to check those out. And I gotta say, this is not necessarily my favorite episode. I think it's a fine episode overall. This episode primarily focuses on Eric Killmonger, who was portrayed by Michael B. Jordan in the Black Panther movie. He has returned to reprise his role as Killmonger, and it's basically what happens if Killmonger succeeds in his plan. I know the title of the episode basically says, what if Tony Stark is saved by Killmonger? But that's kind of not the biggest thing about this episode. The episode starts off very similar to Iron Man 1, when Tony is in the convoy that's attacked and eventually captured by the Ten Rings. And instead of being captured, this time he's saved by Killmonger, who's just in the area and who saves him from being captured. And the biggest point about this episode is that moment is what defined Tony Stark and made him into the hero that he became to be. Without that moment, he's still the same guy. He's just a cocky asshole about it. He's still smart, he's not stupid, but that's something with this episode, is that a lot of people are blind to what Killmonger is doing. And it's very reminiscent of his introduction into Black Panther. He's very much a manipulative person. That's one of the things that made him such a great villain in the movie, besides the fact that he actually had a point and he was kind of right, and that his point inevitably changed the course of an entire country, and also swayed the hero to kind of reevaluate a situation without going to that dark path that Killmonger naturally goes to. So the episode basically unfolds with Killmonger slowly getting his way into this inner circle with Tony and Pepper and Happy, and really causing the development of a form of Iron Man type armor, but instead of armor, it just turns into drones, which is very reminiscent of what Justin Hammer wanted to do in Iron Man 2. Instead of making a suit of armor, he just made drones. And that movie, and we all saw how that turned out. But it's not only that he's manipulating Tony to get what he wants, he also ends up manipulating Wakanda in order to cause this major conflict. Also that he can ascend to the throne and get revenge for the death of his father. I guess mild spoilers for half the MCU movies: Iron Man 2, Avengers Age of Ultron, and Black Panther. I'm just going to run the gambit on those. So if you haven't seen those movies, you might not want to watch this episode, because there are certain events from those movies that take place in this episode, just with different people involved. We get Ulysses Claw involved when the US government is trying to get vibranium to build these suits, because what ends up happening is Killmonger orchestrates a plan not only to kill T'Challa, but also to kill Rhodey and Tony Stark in the process, basically destabilizing two major powers in the world. And that's what they even said in Black Panther when they were introducing Killmonger. Everett Ross made a point to say that he is skilled at destabilizing governments, and he basically does that throughout the entire course of this episode. He manipulates both the Wakandans and the US government into a battle with each other, just so he can side with Wakanda in order to assert himself to the position of Black Panther. It shows how good of a villain that Killmonger was. I was led to believe, based off of the previews for these episodes, and where we saw that Killmonger was kind of shown as a hero, it's definitely not. He's still very much a villain. In his mind, obviously, he is the hero of his own story. But in this episode, yeah, he murders people with cause, but it's still, a lot of villainous acts. And I mentioned it earlier about how he's very good at manipulating people, but a lot of the people in this episode just felt stupid. Like, they weren't, like, blunt. Like, there are moments in dialogue where people are pointing out, like, so you were just there when your unit was all the way over there, and then, or people are like, why are you doing this? Or, I see what you're doing. It's very wink, wink, nudge, nudge to the audience, like, hey, we know something's wrong, but we're not there yet, even though the audience can read it from a mile away. The episode does end with Killmonger basically being given the heart-shaped herb. He's manipulated his way to become the next Black Panther, since he did murder T'Challa, but everyone thinks the U.S. government did, and vice versa with Rhodey, and they think the Wakandans did it. Instead of, when he takes the heart-shaped herb and goes to the spirit plane, he's not greeted by his father like he was in Black Panther. He's greeted by T'Challa, who basically, it's very reminiscent of that scene from Avengers Infinity War after Thanos snapped his finger, where he's confronted by young Gamora saying, like, did you win? Was it worth it? What did it cost? That sort of thing. So, whereas Killmonger feels that he did what he needed to do to get revenge and to assert his, to gain that power, even though T'Challa does point out that it's stolen power. But as dark as the episode ending kind of feels, which again, the course of the last few episodes have definitely had those darker endings, we do get a little bit of potential new hero births in Shuri and Pepper meeting and teaming up to try to reveal to the world that, the thing that everybody kind of already guessed, he's a bad guy. So that's basically where the episode ends. This is another episode where we see the Watcher not as a silhouette, not in the background. We see him more in the forefront of narrating the events. You see him in his full form as Uatu, not hidden, not just observing, but seems to be slowly, as these episodes go along, slowly becoming more and more of a main element in the story. It does confirm that we are going to get a lot of these characters meeting each other at a certain point. I wasn't sure with the first 2 episodes, but based off of some of the promo images for later episodes, and they actually released a mid-season trailer that I didn't do a reaction to, I just kind of watched it, where they showed a lot of these scenes where some of these characters are meeting face to face. Like, we see the Gamora, I think that's coming up in an upcoming episode, who is dressed to the nines and the golden armor of Thanos. We see her in the same scene with Star-Lord, T'Challa, as well as with the version of Thor that is apparently like a party version of Thor, and as well as Killmonger as Black Panther. So I'm not sure if whatever this team that Uatu is putting together is definitely going to be comprised not only of heroes but villains as well, because if we are getting the version of Doctor Strange, who was the darker version who caused his universe to collapse, if we're getting that version meeting with Captain Carter, it stands to believe that this darker version of Black Panther is also going to be this sort of wild card introduced into this supposed, Guardians of the Multiverse team that we're gonna get in a later episode. I'm concerned for that team if they are including him, because he's proven throughout this episode to be incredibly manipulative and able to achieve things that were only a dream in our universe, the movie universe. It's hard to designate. I haven't seen designations yet for some of these universes, so I'm not 100% sure how to word them sometimes. So I do apologize if I sound like I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I do. I like to think I do, but maybe I don't. But again, not a bad episode. I wouldn't say this is a bad episode, but it definitely felt like an episode that was more so meant to just introduce this version of Killmonger or King Killmonger or Killmonger Panther or whatever you want to call him. With this episode, the story itself was kind of inconsequential, because the way they made you believe it was like, so by Tony not being captured, this would have been different regardless, depending on who didn't capture him. Yes, it left a void in terms of a hero, but it was really more so, what if Killmonger won? That should have been the title of the episode. That's what it felt more like. It's like, what if Killmonger's plan worked? That's what I was thinking as I was watching the episode unfold. But overall, it's not a bad episode. It's not necessarily one of my favorites. It's not one I would definitely revisit. I still think the zombie episode and the T'Challa Star-Lord episode are probably two of my favorites, with the Doctor Strange episode probably a close third. But again, not a bad episode. It definitely continues this trend of these universes constantly being screwed over, and I like how we're slowly getting Uatu more and more revealed, and whatever the major threat is that he is preparing for is going to involve uniting all these different characters. I don't want to say heroes because they're not all heroes, but uniting all these people together to protect the multiverse. So that's going to be interesting to check out. Anyway, there's a lot of... One other thing I do want to mention about the episode before I wrap up, there are a lot of cool little Easter eggs. Like I said, it takes elements from the first Iron Man movie, Iron Man 2, Avengers Age of Ultron, as well as Black Panther, all sprinkled throughout the episode. I do like the fact that we've kind of canonically made Killmonger into a weeb or an anime nerd because there is a reference of the design he had for the suits looking very, very Gundam inspired. And as a fan, I do like that. And it's actually just taken from Michael B. Jordan himself, who himself is a huge anime fan. If you see the design of Killmonger's outfit from Black Panther, it's gone on record that was inspired by Vegeta's armor from Dragon Ball Z. So I just thought those were a really nice touch in an episode that may or may not have been my favorite, but overall was a solid episode. So that is my review of episode 6 of Marvel's What If. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on that. As always, thank you so much for watching this and all my videos. I really do appreciate it. It trust me, it makes my day when I see those view counters go up. So by all means, please, I hope you did watch. I hope you liked. And if you do like, subscribe to the channel. I definitely would like to, get to know you. Hit me up. I'm on all the social media that's listed at the end of the video. So feel free to contact me if you want to talk about movies or nerdy stuff. Love to do that. I've got some other videos coming down the pipeline, so feel free to check those out. A ton of videos already on the channel now that I'd love to have you take a look at. Some funny ones, some that I just open up my heart and soul to you, so please don't crush it. But yeah, we got some stuff coming up, so it's going to be exciting. But until next time, I will catch you later. Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you did like this video, why not give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends? You can subscribe to the channel by clicking on my gorgeous little face right over there. You can follow me on all the various social media platforms right below. And last but certainly not least, if you've got a few extra minutes, why not check out one of the lovely videos floating right over here. Later.